How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the second episode of the weekly podcast. We finally have a name for this one. It is the Collector Cast. You guys gave us a ton of names. We like them, although I like the slabs and stonks. But we went with Collector Cast. I am back today with Mike. He is going to be our regular guest each and every week. Last episode, or the first episode, was good. It was a long one, 2 hours long. It was a mammoth of an episode, but I think we covered quite a lot. Today, we are going to be covering Whatnot and Rip and Shippers, which is your favorite thing.
Yeah, 100%. I love Whatnot and Rip and Shippers. That's some sarcasm, in case people don't realize.
Yeah.
I mean, I use Whatnot quite a lot, but I can also 100% understand how it's terrible for the community and people in general. But also, people have been very successful on the platform. So, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be getting into all the nitty-gritty of Rip and Shipping and Whatnot. I will say, before we get started, really, to be fair, I have been Rip and Shipping myself for the last, 3 years. Quite regularly, right? Weekly, a few times a week. I've been doing it now on this channel for 3 years, so I've got some experience of Rip and Shipping. I've got some interesting takes, as it were, before everybody goes in the comments going, dirty scum, get out of this hobby, what are you doing, right? Chill. So we're going to go through that today. And on top of that, we're also going to be talking about Black Bolt and White Flare. The set has literally just come out today. We're talking about this on the release day of both the sets. I haven't managed to get anything, really, of this set, but you've opened up some.
I have indeed, yeah. I have DJ and cracked my PC ETBs because I decided black and white just aren't sets I really care about. There was enough of it available for everyone that wanted to buy them on the Pokemon Center, pretty much, I think.
I thought it was pretty good. They did well.
So they lasted around about 3 hours in my house, which for me is a record, I think.
Mine is sealed.
And then I bought a bunch of tins today because I want to crack some more packs now.
Yeah.
And the retail, which is something you can't really argue with at the moment in the current... No,
I've managed, like today, this morning, I went to go to some local shops to try and find some packs. Literally had barely any luck. They had mini tins. They seem to be a crap ton of mini tins. Barely any ATBs. No White Flare. Seemed to be delayed. They didn't have binder collections or anything like that. It was literally just a ton of mini tins, and they limited the mini tins to one per person. Literally just a single mini tin. I was like, I'm not even going to bother. But it seems interesting. I don't know why there's delays of particularly White Flare, but I don't know whether or not that's going to have an impact on prices, like especially on the secondary market, because you're going to have a lot of Black Bolt. So
it does seem really strange that it's particularly White Flare, because I know that White Flare ATBs got delayed for some reason.
And
then I believe there's a binder collection for White Flare and a binder collection for Black Bolt.
Yep.
So it's two separate products. I think I've only seen the Black Bolt one in shops, but the upside is all the mini tins, which seems to be the most available product, has one of each in, which kind of sucks because I don't care much for White Flare. And personally, I think Black Bolt is the better of the two sets. Okay. I would have preferred if there were just 10 mini tins and I could just buy all Black Bolt. But here we are. I've got 10 mini tins coming. A friend's picked me up another 7, I think, today as well from out and about town while he was picking stuff up for himself. So I'm going to have a reasonable amount of stuff to open, and I'm kind of happy with that. I don't think I'm going to buy any more after this, though.
I'm surprised that we've got 2 different sets, but there's some products that have mixed, like mini tins. I believe the the poster collection has 2 from each set. But the binder collection is individual, and obviously the ETBs. I mean, maybe they could have just done the ETBs separate, and then everything else is mixed, maybe, but I don't know.
I don't know. The binder collections kind of make sense, right? Because they're 2 separate binders as well, isn't there? I think they're 2 separate artworks on the binders.
Okay.
So you got one for one set and one for another set, because I would have thought they almost definitely, you could not fit a master set of both sets into a binder with the Pokeballs, Master Balls, reverses, and everything in this set. And I'm kind of wondering if anybody's going to bother mastering it, and how that's going to affect the price.
Yeah, I mean, it is basically a single set that's been split in two. Let's be real. Like, if you took them together, it is one set that they've just gone, you know what, we're just going to make it two different product lines. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you just took the whole set list and you looked at it and you're like, well, what difference is this compared to 151 or anything of these previous, even prismatic, of these previous specialty sets? It could have just been one set, right? But they've just gone, nope, we're going to split it, separate them in two different ones. You're going to have to buy twice as much. There's clearly going to be one that's going to be more favorable than the other when it comes to popularity, demand, values. It looks like Black Bolt, even though White Flare's delayed and no one really seems to get hold of any here in the UK, it seems like Black Bolt is the more valuable of the two. I don't know any of the pre-order prices for cards or anything like that yet. I'll probably find out next week. But yeah, it definitely seems like that.
Yeah, I would kind of ignore whatever prices are right now, right? Because who knows what they're going to end up being.
Yeah.
Just like with any set drop.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, pre-order prices are always inflated. That's the problem. So, what are your thoughts on the set overall? Opening it, the artwork. How do you feel about both of the sets?
Yeah, I mean, it felt pretty good to open, I guess. I'm not sure if my ETBs were just better than what would be considered average. I opened... So obviously the Pokemon Center ETBs, so you get extra boosters in them.
Yep.
But I opened... In Black Bolt, I opened two IRs.
Okay, yeah.
An SIR, an SR, and 3 Pokeballs and a Master Ball.
Wow.
Which I thought was above average. And then
Wow.
I opened White Flare, and I didn't get an SIR in White Flare, which is, you don't expect to get one in your ETBs. Let's face it. They're one per few boxes or something.
Probably, yeah.
But in that I got 4 Pokeballs, 2 Master Balls, 2 IRs. So I thought that was pretty good as well. I think both of the boxes had 2 EXs in as well. So I think in general the set felt pretty good after opening a lot of prismatic. The set felt very good to open.
Okay, so good, like, volume of hits. I think it needed to be, right. You got that many illustration rares. You need a good volume. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think it's going to be a fun set to open. I think a lot of people have compared it to Crown Zenith of, like, hit rates. Like, you just get so many hits, regardless of what it is, EXs or Pokeballs or whatever it may be. You do get a good volume of hits in most packs, right? And I kind of feel like that just makes it fun for anybody, right? That's just more fun and exciting to get something in a pack, or most likely in a pack. So, yeah, I mean, at the moment, am I going to open up any? Probably not. I've got the 2 Pokemon Sun ETBs, they're staying sealed. Then the inside of them are not seeing the live day. And I've got some on pre-order, like, as in, like, I got some ETBs and other little bits like that. They haven't arrived yet, they've been delayed. But apart from that, I'm not massively excited. And, like, going towards, like, the streams and the online, like, the rip and shipping and stuff, I mean, we're probably not going to have Black Bolt White Flare for a while. And, like, this ties into what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the rip and shipping culture, as it were, and whatnot. And one thing that we've both said we've seen today is the lack of Black Bolt and White Flare on whatnot.
So, I mean, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? That it is the big release day. The biggest streamer currently is doing 151 rip and chips.
Yeah, not even.
And then you've got some surprise sets. I had to scroll to find the first person that was doing Black and White Flare. And then there's no one in there. There are 7 people watching them. They've clearly promoted their screen because they're kind of close towards the top compared to some of the other people streaming right now. We'll get onto that a little bit more later. But I'm kind of wondering, with the hit rates being so good, are we going to see a resurgence of rip till you hits with this set on whatnot?
Oh, 100%.
Part of me thinks they're amazing value rip till you hits. considering you could buy a booster for above market and get nothing. But also, if a Pokeball's a hit, and out of 11 packs, I pulled, 3 Pokeballs, a Master Ball, and 2 EXs, and then 2 actual hits. So out of my 11 packs, I got 8 packs that had hits in them. Is it even going to be worth buying any into a Rip to hit for the premium you're going to pay for it?
Yeah, I mean, like Rip to hits. If you guys don't know what Rip to hit is, they would basically be you buy in for a set price, and then they may be like you keep cracking packs until you get like an EX or better, for example. It's kind of like insurance, as it were. Like you're guaranteed to get something, but you could end up opening 1 pack and get hit straight away. You could end up opening a whole bunch of packs. You just don't know. So like a set that has really good pull rates, high volume of hits for the seller is great, because you're getting people that they're paying. It may be, I don't know, £20 or whatever for a Rip to your hit. Bang, first pack, you got hit. You paid £20 for a single booster pack. Now that hit could be great, or it could be an EX. But yeah, you like sets like Crown Zenith and stuff like that would have been, a really good Rip to your hit. Prismatic, they counted Pokeballs, so that kind of offset a little bit. I guess.
So I mean, funnily enough, like Crown Zenith was one of the ones I was going to mention. It was one of my first interactions with Whatnot. Was I went into a channel and they were doing a Rip to your hit with Crown Zenith, and I had no idea what Whatnot was at this point. I didn't know what Rip to your hits were. So I sat there and I watched a few, and people were getting, on average, like 2.5, 3 boosters per hit. And I think they were charging £26, which at the time, obviously now for Crown Zenith, that sounds super cheap.
Yeah.
But at the time, Crown Zenith packs were like, I don't know, £7, like £6-7. They were very reasonably priced for compared to what they are now. So I decided, hey, I've not done this before. Might as well give it a go. It's £26. It's not going to break the bank account. If I get nothing, it doesn't actually matter. And then I went through like 8 boosters before I got a hit. And I felt like the smartest person in the world.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, sometimes it feels good, and then other times, like you said, you'll pay £26, open 1 booster and get an EX, or or an art rare, and...
Feels bad.
Well, then where are you? Yeah, you feel terrible.
It's kind of weird, and it's interesting that I have seen, I don't know if you've noticed as well, that when you get sets that maybe don't have better pull rates, we see very kind of like lack of Rip to hit streams, right? They tend to then lean towards break streams. So it's like, okay, well, the pull rates of this set's not very good, therefore I will then do break streams instead, which, it is...
We saw a lot of prismatic break streams.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of them. It made sense for the streamers specifically.
Yeah.
And I guess kind of for the people buying into it. At least you know exactly what collectively your money is going towards.
Yeah. And not only that, it's like with the Rip to hit, if you did, let's say, Prismatic, and you were like, Pokeballs count, which is what a lot of people did, you're not really going to buy in, right? You're there as a buyer, you're sat there going, well, I'm not going to pay, I don't know, £30, which is equivalent of maybe 3 packs, and then first pack, boom, Pokeball. Like, that just feels so
it feels
bad,
terrible.
Right? Whereas with a break, let's say you go into a break, I don't know, a prime example, we could go with Prismatic, and you go in there, and you bid in £5, and then you get like a Jolteon slot. That's not bad. But the downside of I find of breaks as a buyer is you heavily rely on other people to bid more. So if you get a good slot, you're relying on others. So it's kind of out of your control of whether it's worth it or not.
Yeah, obviously with breaks, your main goal is hit the good spots for cheap, and then hope there's one good spot left at the end. So say, like, if the Umbreon, we're going back to Prismatic, obviously, if the Umbreon is still there, when there's only like 5 slots left, and maybe there's an Umbreon and there's still a few Master Balls or something of the evolutions. For someone that's gotten an early hit slot, so obviously just one of the evolution SIRs, you're ecstatic because you know people are going to bid up that last spot trying to hit the Umbreon, even though realistically it doesn't matter if you hit that Umbreon spot, because what are the chances in the maybe 8 or 9 boosters that get opened this break, an Umbreon's going to get opened?
Yeah. Exactly.
That kind of leads more to like what I dislike about Whatnot. And I don't think I've been very... Sorry, my words are escaping me here. I don't think I've been very shy about my feelings towards Whatnot on like Discord and stuff like that.
Mate, take the gloves off. Here, you go for it. Go for it. We're here for it. The floor
it's
is
very
yours.
predatory. It's very, very predatory.
Okay.
Yes, you can go onto Whatnot. You can get an absolute steal. You can go into a show and hit £12 on a £50 card. I do it all the time. You feel really good when that happens. And then other times you see people bidding £50 for a £12 card. You know the streamer always makes their money. And that is the main problem I have with the platform. There's no reason for anyone that's on the platform to be genuine. Obviously there are, don't get me wrong. There are definitely people on the platform that it's their job, it's an additional revenue stream. As long as they're getting close to market price for their cards, they're more than happy just to run them on Whatnot. £1 starts. They know they've got enough people in there, so they're not too fussed. But then you always have the people that ruin it for everyone else. And I definitely think it gives Whatnot a bad name when people specifically look at cards and they can see imperfections in them they don't tell the viewers about. I've had it a few times now where a streamer, one of the larger streamers, has specifically said, oh no, this card came out of my... Oh, I should have put this card in my grading pile, or some nonsense about how clean the card looks.
Yeah,
and then...
Absolutely, yeah. Those ones, yeah.
4 days later, it turns up on my house, and I look at the back of the card, and it's got 6 dents in the back that they just happen to not show, or they put their thumb over. I had a Mega Gardevoir turn up the other day that I bought off Whatnot. I thought I got it for an absolute steal. I paid £16 for it. The streamer was saying how good it looked, no imperfections, like he could definitely 10, but no one else bid on it. So maybe I missed it. I did the VOD review. No, he had his thumb over 12 tiny pinprick dents on the side of a card. So, I mean, realistically, the card's worthless. No one's going to buy that from me as a vendor. And I have no shame to say that, yeah, I go to Whatnot and I buy stuff that I resell at card shows.
Yeah.
As a vendor.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can pick up steals.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, do you think that let's say, the creators that are on there, sellers on there, that do auction streams are more of a problem than ones that do stuff where it's just a fixed price. So, like, let's say you had somebody on there that was going, we're doing classic, let's say, rip and ship. You buy packs, this is the price of the pack. You go in there, you go into the buy now, you just buy the pack, you do whatever. That's it. Do you think that's better than if they go, you know what, we're going to do it all from £1 start. You guys can bid on however much you're willing to pay for it. Whether or not it's ridiculously high or low, and you know, what do you think? Do you think what's worse, the auction side, or do you think it...
I mean...
both as bad as each other?
Obviously, you get the argument that market price is whatever someone's willing to pay for a card at that particular moment. So who am I to tell you that you're wrong paying £50 for a £12 card that you can literally go right now and buy it off of eBay?
Yeah.
I've been banned in multiple streams for pointing out that someone's overpaid for something. Yeah. Which, yeah, fair enough. It's not my right to go into someone's stream and then tell people that they can buy cards cheaper on eBay. But some people don't like to use eBay. It's the same reason people overpay for stuff at card shows sometimes. But that's obviously that's a separate topic, that one. But going back to your question, I think with boosters and stuff like that, I think just if it's boosters specifically, I think whatever price you put it at, I think is the more realistic way of selling them, rather than having people bid against them, especially with new sets or slightly overhyped stuff. There are lots of people that will accidentally overpay just in the way Whatnot works. For people that haven't used Whatnot, if you're doing it on your phone, you swipe across the screen to up the bid. Sometimes you can swipe across the screen the same time as 3 other people swipe across the screen, and it can go from £5 to £15 in one swipe. I've seen a lot of people do it, and then they complain in the chat, and they're just like, "Oh, I didn't mean to bid that much." That's just it's the way the platform works, and unfortunately, it's one of the pitfalls of the platform. Obviously, Whatnot don't really care. The streamers kind of don't really care either because they're making more money this way.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of feel that set price bidding is the better way to do it, specifically for boosters. But I think with singles, the better way to do it is just auction them.
Yeah, I think so. And like, one thing I've noticed, and I started doing a little bit on Whatnot in 2023 when the platform was relatively new, and it was very, very different than it is now. Like back then, there was nowhere near as many people selling. You also had a big emphasis on kind of like helping the buyers, getting the buyers into the platform, rewarding the buyers, and so on and so forth. And now it's shifted so heavily in let's get as many people on this platform selling as possible, right? So in the past, it was kind of an invite only. Like you got kind of poached, I guess, by Whatnot, and they'd be like, "Hey, do you want to stream on this platform?" You know, you might have had a following on Instagram, like a decent follow on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, doesn't matter where it was, but you had something. And that's what they did to me. They reached out to me and said, "Hey, look, we want you to be a seller on Whatnot." And I was like, at the time, I was like, I don't know what it is. Let's give it a try, whatever. And back then, there was very low amount of viewership. There clearly wasn't enough traffic. And they had an issue of, getting buyers on there. So they brought out an incentive back then where it was like, every time someone used your referral code, they would get £10, which is still the same now. They'll get £10 credit. As the seller, I would get £20 cash. Every time somebody...
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, so it was like every time somebody would use the referral code, they get £10 credit on Whatnot, and I would get £20 that I could just withdraw if I wanted to. So that's basically what happened. And then they're like, wait a minute, we're losing a ton of money doing this. Then they changed it to what it is now, where you basically now only get £5 credit for every referral joined. But you get £150 if you refer a seller.
Yep.
So the emphasis back then
the ridiculous part.
Let's get buyers in as much as possible. We want people on a platform buying all the time. Now they're like, no, we want as many people selling, because the more people selling, we get passively through the commission. The fact is that one of my friends who, he collects Pokemon for fun. But not only that, not just fun, as in like he randomly bought some packs or bought some cards he really liked. He's a big Eevee fan. He put some pictures up on his Instagram. It's the only thing he ever did of Pokemon was literally just put up some pictures of Eevee cards he collected and got hold of, right? They reached out to him. They're like, hey,
it's kind of wild.
Do you want to sell on Whatnot? And he messaged me and he's like, Jace, I've heard you mention this Whatnot thing before. What's the deal? They reached out to me. I'm like, no way have they. And he showed me and I was like, I couldn't believe it. So to me, it's like, what are they doing? You have sellers on your platform have probably no real intention, realistically, of selling stuff, but they're just trying to get anybody and everybody selling. So what's happened is you've now got this platform that is just expanded so massively, full of sellers, but not enough people are buying. So you just got, I would say, if you had to do a sliding scale, the percentage of sellers have gone up so high compared to how much growth in buyers are coming on the platform. And I would then also say, which will be, I know something that you definitely will be passionate about, is certain creators are having either multiple channels streaming, sometimes at the same time. So they would have another individual, maybe a friend, maybe an employee or whatever, streaming for them, just so they're constantly keeping things going. So it's no longer about a creator. So they would come to me and they go, Jace, I want you, right? Or they'll go to you and they go, Mike, I want you to stream. It's no longer I'm streaming. It's no longer you streaming. It's now my company streams. It's not me as a creator, right? So if I'm streaming on YouTube here, it's me. You know it's me, and that's it. There's not going to be anybody else. There's not like another, it's not like another channel or whatever it is. It is just me. It's not a company or anything like that. It is the individual. Same if you streamed over on Twitch or anything like that. It is you as an individual. But on there, it's now like shifted that it's now companies that stream on that. And they hire then employees, and then they just go, you know what? We're going to stream 12 hours a day or whatever, 7 days a week. Off you go.
Yeah, so I mean, going back to with Whatnot, just trying to onboard people as sellers specifically at the moment. So I started streaming on Whatnot. So obviously, as we mentioned last stream, I'm a vendor. I vend at card shows. It's now my full-time job. I was looking for like alternate revenue streams for the business. And someone mentioned selling on Whatnot. And I thought, well, this is probably going to be a pretty good way of getting supplemental income into the company in between shows, moving extra stock, and then I'm going to have more buying power and more buying range of products that I can actually take in at shows. Because obviously at the moment, I'm kind of limited to what I can take in at shows as sort of what stuff I think is going to sell at a show. If I don't think it's going to sell at my next show or the one after that, I'm kind of more hesitant to take it unless it's a big chase card that I don't mind sitting on for months and months, like gold stars. Like someone's going to want to buy them eventually.
Yeah.
So I started streaming on Whatnot with this £150 new seller incentive. They wanted me to sell £750 worth of products on the platform within the first month, I think. Okay. And then obviously with their percentage they take off of your sales, it easily covers the money they're paying me to be on the platform. For that first month, I did a lot of sales. I'm not talking small numbers. I probably did like £3,000-4,000 worth of sales in the 6 times I went live over that month period.
Wow.
Which is kind of ridiculous. And it was during like the AR boom where everyone wanted the Japanese ARs, everyone wanted the English IRs. So I was £1 starting all of those cards. I bought a bunch in from Japan, and I was just firing through them every stream. And then as soon as that period of in promotion within inside Whatnot wore off, that's it. I couldn't get a single person into my stream. I changed literally nothing, but I went from getting 20, 30 people into the stream to struggling to get 2 people to bid on a card. And I think that is a big problem in Whatnot. They sort of massively push new new sales on their platform to try and see what sticks and what doesn't stick. And then as far as they're concerned, you're kind of expendable after that point because they've made the money off of you that they've invested in you effectively.
Yeah. In
your introductory period. And you're expendable. They just get someone else in. Because realistically, for them, it's a money machine. As long as they're making their percentages, they don't really mind what goes on their platform, it kind of seems. Obviously, I don't want to get too much into the drama side of Whatnot. There are plenty of other content creators out there that specifically cover that. But Whatnot seem pretty lax on who they let stream sometimes. I don't think necessarily in the UK. I can't think of too many problematic streamers in the UK. Spring to mind, but specifically like America, they seem to have just a bunch of them. And it's not just Pokemon either. They seem to be
everywhere,
all over everything else that you can buy on Whatnot. So yeah, so you kind of get this honeymoon period on there where you do really well and you think that you're doing something right, but all that's happening is they're just pushing your stream to the right people. So then I took a break off Whatnot and I thought, you know what, I'm kind of done with the platform. I'm going to move to just selling stuff on eBay as other passive income. Realistically, the percentages are the same for a business account, at least on eBay, of what you end up losing in fees. And yeah, I mean, eBay's worked out pretty well for me recently. Then I got a message on Instagram. I think I graded. I graded my sister's childhood Pokemon cards with Ace.
Nice.
She just wants them encapsulated, and she wants them back quickly. And she had a base set Charizard.
Ooh.
So I was like, I'll grade it for you. I would suggest sending it to PSA because obviously the value is going to be better with PSA. We decided to go down the route of grading with Ace just because I had an Ace submission ready to go for 35 cards. I could realistically just remove a few of those cards and grade some of her childhood cards. And then we got the Charizard back and it was a 1. I mean, the condition was terrible. I'm not really too surprised.
Yeah.
They seem to give away a lot more ones that PSA do, so I wasn't too excited about it being 1. But I took a picture of it, put it on Instagram because I was like, this is just free content. You don't see base set 1 Charizards all the time.
No.
And then 2 days later, I had someone from Whatnot reach out to me saying, hey, never seen an Ace Charizard with a 1 before. Have you ever thought about streaming on Whatnot? And I was like, are you kidding me? My Instagram is almost identical to my Whatnot name.
Right.
And I think my Whatnot even has my Instagram on it.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, well, this just seems like them just being a bit slapdash with, hey, Pokemon person, let's get them on our platform.
Yeah, yeah.
So I messaged them back and just said, hey, actually, I tried streaming on Whatnot before. Everything seemed to be going great. And then we got to a point in Whatnot where there were a lot larger streamers that had sort of conglomerated together to make sure that they weren't ever competing with each other. They get 400 or 500 people in their channels at a time. One of them ends, the next one starts, and they just sort of like leapfrog and they raid each other. And there's just no real room for the little man on Whatnot that's just trying to make a living, really. They messaged me back and they were like, oh, well, this is definitely something we can talk about. Can we set up a call? And I'm just like, yeah, sure. Get into a call with them, and then they just say to me, well, you need to be less worried about what other people are doing on the platform and more worried about what you're doing wrong. And I was like, yeah, no, I think this conversation is just straight up over now. They were telling me that I needed to pre-organize all of my shows. I needed to use the platform like this and do X, Y, and Z. And I said to them, I'm not being rude, but I use your platform, or like I used to use your platform to buy stuff.
Yeah.
I never once looked at upcoming shows for anybody that I looked at. I went into the stream, if it had people in it,
yeah,
and if they were interacting with the chat, if they had good deals, I might buy something, I might hang around. But it was like, literally, I'd go in 5 seconds, I'd decide whether or not I was going to stay or not.
Yeah.
And if you've got no one in, it's impossible for you to get more people in. You're not going to get people in because you're not interacting with anyone, right? So whenever I go into a Whatnot stream now, I try and interact with the streamer. I say hello to them, ask them how their day's going, ask them about cars they might have, like the back wall and prices and stuff like that. I may not necessarily want to buy anything, but I'm all there for the good ones on the platform to try and get them interacting with their audiences and stuff, and maybe like, especially if they're just sitting there not saying anything, it's not entertaining.
Like the one thing I've noticed on there is there are real, genuinely good people on there. Like, but you tend to find, it sounds really, I guess, strange, you tend to find they're the smaller ones. They're the smaller creators that are really genuine. They don't try and sap every little bit of money from you. They're usually, and this experience I've had personally, is like single card auctions. They're really transparent and really good view of the cards and everything like that. Because the thing is, like, when they do the cards, they don't, like, I don't have a card near me, but they don't grab a card and go, right, guys, 5 seconds, boom. Next one, 5 seconds, boom. You've got no chance of looking at the condition of the card in 5 seconds. You've got no idea to go and look at the pricing of this card. You're there going, holy crap, this is a card I want. And you just end up bidding for it. And then let's say you did win it. You probably overpaid for it. and then when you get it, it's trash, right? Whereas the smaller creators, and this is what I've noticed, is they'll get a card, they'll show you, they'll talk about the card, you can ask questions about the card, and so on and so forth, and then they go, right, we're going to run it, it won't be like sudden death or anything like that, we're just going to run it, bid it up, guys, if you want it, bid for it, that's it, right? And I'm like, great. Yeah. The ones that are like 5 seconds, sudden death, that's it, boom, next card, boom, next card, boom. I don't mind it if it's like low level cards, right? When we're talking about cards
if it's like a £3 card, like, yeah, whatever, right?
Yeah, EXs or regular V cards or whatever it may be, sure. But these are SIRs, alt arts, stuff like that, and they're just banging through, boom, 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 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, and you just see the number. And I'm seeing some of these cards. I'm like, joke is a running joke theme on my streams here. We talk about the £9 Paladin student from Paladin Fates, because I was watching, I can't remember who it was, but I was watching a stream and people were paying like £8-9 for Paladin student. They were paying £8 for a Palafin from Paladin Fates because they were bigging up these cards. But they also, I find a lot of these ones that do the single card auction streams, is they kind of, a lot of them give false information on the card.
Oh, 100%.
And especially when it comes to the value of the card. Exactly. But it's like, another one is like, these cards are like really hard to get hold of. They're really sought after. These cards are going to shoot up in value, get them before they absolutely skyrocket. And I'm sitting there going,
oh, yeah.
It's like a £2 card. I can buy it everywhere. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Right? And then people pay
I'll tell you my
5-6 times the value.
Sorry. My favorite one is always, I can't buy this card anymore. This is the last one I'm going to do. I can't buy these in Japan anymore. Yeah. These have gone up in Japan. Or this is a hit card from a £400 booster pack. Well, that's like me saying, here, buy this Hollow Muck. It's a hit card from a £400 booster pack. It's a £1 card at best, in good condition. It's not an expensive card. But you do get some streamers that just try and they try and really oversell everything,
and people buy into it.
Again, I've been banned from channels that I was actively looking to buy cards from, because they were like, "Oh, I'm not gonna mention that any names or anything, because
no.
Ultimately I'm not here to spread muck or anything. For all I know, they could have had a bad day. This one particular streamer, they've had lots of bad days and been banned from the platform temporarily. But they're now back and people like buying from them, so who am I to tell you that, like them, that they're doing something wrong? Clearly they're doing something right that I'm not doing. But he was trying to make the argument that because the promo, it was a blister with a I've got one right here. So it was like one of these, right? Where it's
like the check lane blisters type things. Yeah,
so it's a check lane booster. So he was trying to claim that because the difference in price between a check lane blister and the raw blister, it must mean that the promo inside is worth the difference at a minimum.
Is it just normally like a hollow?
No. Okay, so this one was the... Yeah, it was an XY. It was a Sword and Shield set. It was with the promo card was the Pikachu and the Mimikyu. Now that card is like £40, right? Now it's an expensive promo because people like Mimikyu now, I guess, and everyone's always loved Pikachu. I think it's probably more of because it's an old promo, and old promos are kind of going crazy at the moment. It was more of the fact that at the time you could literally go onto eBay. So he was trying to sell the promo,
right, from
the check lane. And he was trying to argue that it was a £40 promo at that time, which was maybe like 2 months ago, when the card was £25. You could buy one on eBay at that exact moment that was near mint for £25. And he was trying to claim that it was a £40 card because the check lane blisters went for £40 more than the loose blister. Right. I'm like, that's not really how that works.
No.
If I can go on eBay and buy it right now for £25, it's a £25 card.
There's always bad
some people
apples,
are the worst on that, but
I think so. Yeah, on any platform, there's always bad apples, and that's what I say to people. Like, I know you see a lot about it and whatnot, horror stories and stuff. Do you think rip and shippers as a whole, right, regardless of what platform they're on, do you think
Mhm.
right now they are good or bad for the hobby, for the situation that we're in regarding getting hold of steel product, right, and the highly inflated market prices of things? Do you think they have a part to play, and do you think it's bad?
I think it entirely depends who the rip and shipper is.
Okay.
I think if it's a store that has access to distro, they have an unfair advantage being a rip and shipper, as
Yeah.
opposed to like I don't know where you get your product from. I know you used to be able to get like some bits semi distro, but not actually distro, right?
Yeah, I used to be able to get
Um,
some product like kind of
you got it like
wholesale-ish prices.
wholesale
Yeah.
ish, yeah. So like you weren't paying distro prices, but you also weren't
No.
quite paying retail prices.
So I give an
And
example. Like,
I
yeah.
think that puts you sort of like in like the middle ground of how it's affecting the hobby. But obviously, you've got your shops that are paying distro and then sort of charging as if they've bought the packs at retail, and then they've still got to make their percentage, and then they've still got to make their fees on top of it.
Yeah.
Um, and they're making significantly more money than if they were just to sell them in their shops. And I think that's probably causing some problems in you being able to find, like, you being able to go down to your local game store that you want to support and buy packs.
Yeah, I agree.
And then you have your other rip and chippers that are buying at retail, and then that's also stopping you from being able to go to your local GameStop and like your local game shop and buy packs because they're bulk buying it from literally everywhere that's anywhere near them
Yeah.
to then go onto platforms like Whatnot and then resell at above market plus fees. And obviously, they need to make it worth their while.
Yeah.
But it just kind of feels like sometimes that it's sort of causing this really strange sort of, I guess, like bubble where I can't go to a shop to buy packs, so I have to go online, pay more than retail, and then have someone else open the packs for me.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it feels pretty bad. And
So
then
like,
other times I kind of don't mind it. Like if it's someone
yeah.
that I don't mind supporting, like I don't mind coming into your streams and buying packs
Mm.
because I'm getting entertainment out of it. I'm
Yeah.
supporting you as like an independent creator, and then ultimately, like I know you're not massively rolling in money from the pack, like the 2 booster packs that I just bought.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
making a percentage on them, sure, but like then you're also going to end up paying tax on that money that you're making, and like I feel it's just it's completely fine. But would I go onto like some random rip and chippers on Whatnot just because I can't find packs to open myself? I feel really bad about doing that.
Yeah. It's a weird one. So like, regarding getting hold of packs, I would say, like, if you have a distro here, you get boxes, booster boxes for £85, right? So you could get some rivals, whatever it is, £85. Brilliant. Now, in the past, I would agree that it was kind of bad for a seller because obviously booster boxes are £100 or sometimes under £100, right? But now what you're seeing is you're getting people that have distro access. They get a booster box for £85. Obviously, they got to add VAT onto it, but let's say they get it for right, they get it for 85, right? Instead of selling it for retail, which is what people would expect these stores to sell at, which is still more than what they ever used to sell it at, and it's still a reasonably good like markup, right? If you think retail, you're paying 85, they're selling it for 155 or 145 or whatever it is. That's really good. But they're not. They're now, not only are they in some cases selling it for market price, so let's say there's some rivals, they're selling it for £200 a box or whatever it is now on eBay. I think actually I looked yesterday and it's going up to 220, 230 a box. So sometimes they might be selling it like the packs to add up to what the market price is. But in some cases, they're actually selling it even above market. So like they get a distro and they go, right, I'm now selling this at, I don't know, £9-10 a booster pack. So they're basically selling the booster box for £300, basically, if you break it down how much they're charging per pack and you do a booster box worth. It's like, hang on, they get it for 85. They're now, not only are they not selling it for MSRP, but they're not selling it for market, they're now selling it for even more than market. It's like, hang on a minute. Do you know what I mean? Like, this doesn't seem quite right.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's sort of like
you know,
there's no way of stopping that from happening. Obviously, in an ideal world, you would have distro marking the price of the box, so having them price mark boxes, and then that is what you're contractually obligated to sell them out to be able to use the distro. The problem with that, obviously, is then you put them on the shelves and they all sell out instantly because you're significantly under what market is.
yeah,
So that's obviously not a thing that can ever happen in the hobby at the moment. Obviously, there will be a point, I think, well, at least I hope, where we move back to being able to walk into an LGS and then have 6 boxes of something on the shelf. You ask for one of them and them not think you're trying to scalp.
yeah, usually, yeah.
But obviously, there's also nothing you can do to stop a store from selling at what they think they can get for a product.
No.
And ultimately, there are people that will pay. I mean, I've definitely done it before. I've gone to my LGS and I've paid above market for something because I wanted to support a local store.
Yeah.
Or it's been a convenience. I've walked into the shop, I'm there to play an event, or I was walking past and I was going to pick up like 3 boosters or something, and then I see they've got like the new Magic the Gathering collector's booster, and I used to be really big into Magic, so I'd be like, yeah, sure, let me drop like £35 on one of those boosters because why not? But you do just end up in the awkward spot where I imagine for the stores themselves, it's kind of hard to justify selling anything at retail anymore, knowing that if you sell at a retail, someone's making money off of effectively your hard work and all of the prerequisites you have in place to be able to have distribution access.
Yeah.
It's...
I've got no problem with market. Like, if they want to self-market, go and do it. Like I said, in the past, they won't be able to make much money or little to no money, really, on selling booster boxes. Now they're in a case where, all right, yes, they might not be able to get as much stock as they used to, but they're making such a large markup on it that it kind of outweighs it to some extent. So for me, I don't have an issue with shops doing that. That's not the problem. It's more the fact is that, like we were saying, you have shops that have distro, but they're selling it above retail because they're ripping shipping, right? So they're going, okay, well, we're going above that market price and beyond, right? So it's like, not only are we getting these boxes and we're not selling them at retail, we're not selling them at market. You know, let's say they had it in their store for market, fine. But then they go, hang on, we're now going to do it as a rip and ship, but we're now going to up the price even more for that premium, as it were. It's like, hang on a minute, now you're seeing this huge, like we've seen it with 151. We were talking about this before we started doing this episode, is we're seeing these channels on these platforms ripping 151 like absolute beasts, like going through hundreds of packs a day. And it's like, I've barely ever seen 151. And it's like, it's crazy. And we talk about like Black Bolt and White Flare. And it's like, okay, well, let's say you're a store and you got your Black Bolt and White Flare allocations and they turned up today. You go, okay, well, I have a choice. I can either sell it at £50 an ETB, or I can sell it on eBay for, I think they're currently going for like 70, right? So I can sell it on eBay for 70, or I can break it open and sell it at, you know, £10 a pack on whatnot. So I'm now getting £90 for the ETB, plus I get to keep the promo and the other stuff inside. And it's like, hang on a minute.
It's really hard to argue against it, right?
Like, if you're not someone that has distribution access, they're having to go to these stores, they're having to go to Smith's or wherever, buy it, and then either sell it on eBay as a sealed product and make a little bit of money on it, which is scalping, or they go to the next higher level, which is then the rip and shippers, and they're trying to, and it's not like they're selling at their eBay price or that market price, they're now selling it at a even more higher price because they paid more for it in the first place, right? They paid that retail price or whatever it may be. That's the issue you have in this current climate, is you have, you know, I guess the average person that tries to make some money out of it, whether it's good or bad, you see it as good or bad, it's a whole different thing, but they'll go in at a higher entry point because that's all they can get it at, which would be at the stores or on eBay. And then for them to make their margin, they need to increase their prices. So then the going rate on these platforms is higher because that's what the average Joe is being able to get hold of. but the stores, they get a much lower entry point, are selling it at the same level as them, but obviously their margins are much greater because they can get it at a much lower cost. And they're doing much larger volumes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's also the thing, right? Especially with some of the stores that are selling on Whatnot now, they're not just, like, they get a bigger following as well because it's their full-time job, right? You can effectively chalk it up as, hey, this is just another branch of the business now, so we can afford to dedicate X amount of time or X amount of people to make it work against your just random average Joe that's trying to use Whatnot as a bit of additional income.
Yeah.
Obviously, the other thing as well is your average Joe that's using it as additional income, are they paying any taxes on their income as well? I don't want to get into tax stuff.
Yeah.
Who
knows? Depends on how much money they make.
I've spoken to a few that seem to think that they just didn't need to pay taxes because, as far as they were concerned, they were selling stuff they owned, and I had to break the illusion to them on that one. The HMRC don't really care anymore.
No.
And if you're reselling Pokemon cards, you will owe the government money. That was one of the main reasons why I set up my company to vend.
Yeah.
I was speaking to some other vendors, and they didn't have companies. They were all running it just through their personal bank accounts.
Yeah.
Because I was asking, before I started vending, I wanted to have sort of a rough idea of what I was getting myself into, like financially a little bit. I've run companies before successfully, so I've got the knowledge of how everything works, but I was more wondering how individual vendors managed it within, because I'm coming from having run significantly larger companies than what effectively my current company is worth.
Yeah.
It's significantly smaller. So I'm not entirely certain how to manage a smaller company, really. I've never had experience in that.
Yeah.
So I spoke to a couple of vendors to get their opinions, and some of them just seem to think that
they don't pay
it's fine because, because I mainly take cash at events. So that sort of just goes into the house, and then I use it to buy more stock at more events. And taking that approach, well, that's going to be hard for the taxman to ever find out about that.
Yeah.
And then you have others that have companies, but obviously not everyone knows. But if you try and pay cash into a business bank account, you get charged for it, like quite a lot. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So they were running their cash through their personal account and then transferring it to their business accounts. I was like, your accountant's not going to like that.
No, because they'll be like, where did this money come from?
It's literally like, it's just going to look like you're laundering money. It's sorry, I went on a little bit of a tangent there.
No, I mean it's fair, but I think right now, I think in this current market state, rip and shippers are like, they are like, I guess so many different types of people in the hobby are a part to play in what's going on right now. And I think, like we were saying earlier, I think the stores that, instead of just selling the product maybe on their website or in their actual physical stores, are going, hang on a minute, instead we're going to sell on Whatnot or whatever. We're going to sell through these live stream drip or whatever it may be. We're going to be selling it on these other platforms because we can make even more money. I mean, one thing that I have heard is over in the US, distribution have increased their distribution prices to stores. So people are buying ETBs, whatever it may be, at close to market price. So unlike here, where stuff has stayed the same, like if I wanted a booster box, it's £85 if I had distro, and it's all pretty much been like that regardless of whatever the market price is, right? That's great. But over there, that hasn't been the case. They've actually, a lot of distro companies have increased what they sell it to their stores at, so they can get a bigger cut for themselves. So it's really difficult for the stuff to drop in value.
I kind of wonder then if, so in the UK, for people that don't know, we have one centralized distributor direct from the Pokemon Center. So they're the one person in the UK that gets stuff direct from the Pokemon Center, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
And then they'll have accounts with other wholesalers that will then supply smaller shops and like your corner shops and stuff like that, and maybe like some of the rip and shippers, and your LGSs and stuff probably are also buying from the central distribution.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering in America, maybe if they don't have one centralized distributor and they just have a bunch of smaller distributors that all buy directly from Pokemon Center.
Probably.
So they can all kind of just like in each region, they can just kind of, they have a monopoly on the market. Because realistically, what are you going to do if you live in, say, one state? Because they'll have state taxes and stuff that apply to the products. It's probably more of a minefield to try and import it from another state than it is just to buy for your current distro who's put their price up. You're kind of shoehorned into just using that, whereas I think we're quite lucky in the UK that the centralized distributor seems to just be happy with the margin they're making because they're selling out constantly.
Yeah,
there's always going to be someone to buy it.
We are smaller here, right? And also because of that, we get far less product.
Oh, we get a lot less product, yeah.
A hell of a lot less. And it's not even like quantity, it's also like exclusive products. We get far less, right? Over in the US, they get like the exclusive boxes there from Crown Zenith and all this other stuff. Us here, no. It's kind of a weird one. But like with card shows, we'll move over to talk a little bit about. We'll end with talking a little bit about card shows and trading shows. You said you've got one tomorrow, is that right?
Oh, so tomorrow I've got. I'm going to be walking around a local card show. It's maybe 10-15 minute drive from me. Unfortunately, I had no idea it was even happening. I had no idea what was happening. By the time I mentioned them, they'd sold out Pokemon tables. So that was kind of upsetting.
I mean, when you mentioned it, I didn't know there was one on there tomorrow.
No. So I thought, you know what? It's just down the road. I'm a massive fan of like supporting local events and supporting other local businesses. So I thought, I'll buy tickets. I'll go down. I'll have a look around. I'll walk around. I'll probably buy a bunch of stuff from other vendors. But I did message the person running it and just said to them, look, if you get anyone drop out last minute or you turn up and you've got a spare table, literally just drop me a message back on Instagram. I've got all my stuff ready to go. I'll pay you for the table. I've got no problem with that.
Yeah, I'm literally down the road.
I can be there in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally like the perfect person for this one event. If anything goes wrong, or if you magically find an extra space, because you never know what's going to happen on the day. No. I think at LCS one time there was just a bunch of empty tables because vendors got stuck in traffic and then decided, well, realistically, at this point, the motorway's closed. It's going to take me like an extra 3 hours to get around it. There's no point in going. Might as well just cut my losses.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. You never know what's going to happen on the morning of. So I've got that tomorrow morning. And then I'm in Oxford on the 26th. So that'll be fun.
That was like next Saturday,
obviously,
right? Yeah, next Saturday.
Yeah, it's the Saturday after, yeah. And then obviously LCS weekend. Got myself some tables there.
I'm looking forward to that.
Very much looking forward to that one.
I'm looking that would be.
Oh yeah, of course. You're joining me on Sunday, aren't you?
I'm gonna be joining you on Sunday. It's gonna be interesting. I've never vended at a card show. Look, I don't know whether or not it's gonna. I mean, I would assume it'll go well, but do you know what I mean? Like, it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Realistically, it's one of the easiest things to do in the world.
I think it's be chill. I mean, I'm gonna try and like maybe get it set up and like record. Yeah, that'd be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It'd be nice to see some people and chat to them and stuff like that. And I'll just sell all your stuff at 50% off.
Yeah, we can't afford to do that one.
No, well,
I'm gonna have to put you in front of the binders, aren't I? We can probably afford to take 50% on some binder cards, but
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, if you start selling my gold stars at 50% off, then we're gonna have a bit of a problem, aren't we?
I mean, I'm not the best at vintage cards, so if anybody asks about vintage, I'm not a fan of vintage. My knowledge of vintage is pretty small, mainly because I don't really care. So I'm quite vocal about my lack of interest in vintage. Desert Rival seems to be very popular still. I think a lot of people.
I mean, it makes sense.
I think a lot of people,
a lot of money on
to some extent, I think a lot of people prefer to open up Desert Rivals than Black Pot White Flare That seems to be the general feel that I've been getting at the moment. But it'd be interesting to see moving forward. Like we got the Mega Evo set dropping next, or more sets, but that one dropping in September. Kind of really difficult to get hold of to begin with, and then once the set comes out, everyone's like, actually, you know what? I'm not that interested, and then we start to see the prices fall and availability become a little bit easier. It is going to be a bit.
Yeah, I would say
but...
not buying any of this set at above retail. I think there is going to be plenty of it available at retail once it hits stores and online shops. Because if you think about it, I've seen a couple of online stores that were slightly above retail that discounted it to retail today around like 2 o'clock because it hadn't sold out, and obviously they were kind of expecting similar hype to the past few sets where that's it, you list it and just like you snap your fingers and it's gone. But it's been sitting around and they've had to lower their prices back down to retail price on it, which I think is really good. I'm just going to be, I'm kind of hit and quit in this set. I'm going to crack all the tins.
Yeah.
I'm not going to keep anything sealed because I think there's definitely going to be opportunity to buy it at retail or possibly even below retail, dare I say, if the set's not quite as popular as people think it might be. I've heard a lot of people say that Black and White wasn't very popular in the UK as a game, but in Japan it was massively popular, which is why we've got the Black and White set at the end of Scarlet and Violet, because they thought that it would sell really well.
Interesting.
But I think in the UK it wasn't as popular as it was in America and Japan. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Maybe I'll be completely wrong. Maybe you won't be able to buy any at retail after this weekend, and I'm just not going to have any of it sealed.
I'm not buying anything.
I'm kind of fine with that.
If I can't get it retail, I'm not interested. And if that is the case, that can't get any for the streams, like I say at the moment, streams Black and White, nothing.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm not that bothered. I would rather get more Deaths and Rivals, right? I would rather get sets that people would enjoy opening and try and get stuff that isn't ridiculously expensive as well. Like 151. 151's dropped in price. Haven't done 151 for a while, so I was like, let's get some 151. And people like 151, right? It's such a good set to open. But it's one of these things where I kind of feel like, Black and White, I don't know. I don't think it'll do that great. I'm gonna probably do.
Yeah.
I want to do a tier list video, like the final one for the Scarlet and Violet era. We'll see.
It feels very, very similar to Powder and Fates, though, in the fact that kind of with Powder and Fates you could open it and you would never feel like really bad because you'd have the baby shinies.
Oh, absolutely. Same
this feels very similar, where you've just got so many illustration rares in the set. To open,
the value
I think
will be
it's reasonably
there.
fun to open.
Yeah, I think the value will be there for both sets. Mainly because when I say the value is like there's gonna be so many illustration rares where they're like, a couple of pound, between £2 to £5 a piece, that all add up to make the overall value of the set large. We see sets like Powder and Fates and so on and so forth. When you have sets, and I value sets more where the value of the set is spread quite nicely. When you have a set like Champion's Path, where it's like you have 2 cards that are worth £150 each, and then the next most expensive card's £5.
Yeah, it's miserable to open that sort of stuff.
Right, it's. But look at the sealed value of Champion's Path. So it's and that kind of shows. I think the biggest
test for Black Bolt and White Flare is going to be where the illustration rare prices end up, because I'm not sure if the set itself can support a bunch of them just being £3. Is it going to kind of crash the market on illustration rares, and we're going to start seeing 50p English illustration rares? That is my main concern. You're going to open one of these effective hit cards, and it's going to be like opening a Palafin.
We had that in Paladin Fates. Come on, the £8 Palafin.
Yeah, but I tried giving them away on streams and whatnot, and no one would pay me £1 for them. It was wild. And then
you should put them up for £8, mate. They'll sell.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, if this ends up being the same, then you could also just see the set price tank because of it, and no one's going to open it because realistically none of the illustration rares are worth any money. Or it could go the exact opposite way, where everyone just cracks all the packs because there's so much value in there. Literally. Because you've got a bunch of people that want a master set it, I guess, and they're going to need all the illustration res. So I think if you're planning on opening it and you have it this weekend, just open it, sell the singles.
Yeah.
I think you can make reasonable money on it this weekend. Or this coming week,
build up on
next week, the next few weeks.
See what's like at the card show. See what's like at the card show tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to try and get rid of my my special illustration rare tomorrow.
Yeah, it'd be very expensive, so just get rid of it.
Yeah, I think it's over £100. So
really, wow.
That covers the 2 ETBs.
Literally, that's nice. Yeah, that's really good. I would say final thoughts. Rip and shippers. They're okay for the hobby. They're a bit good, a bit bad. Whatnot is a bit of a sketchy place to be. I think there's one.
Some good eggs, some bad eggs.
Some good.
Unfortunately,
some bad.
Everyone remembers the bad ones. No one ever mentions the people
ones.
that are good for the platform.
No, and there are definitely,
which is a shame, but
that's it. Don't go crazy, guys. Don't go and spend a crap ton of money on a pack.
Don't fall DGen like I did last night.
Yeah, don't spend like.
I think I spent £400 or whatnot last night on spending series cards. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but they're all so minty.
You hope.
Yeah, I really hope.
Yeah, I was gonna say you hope. You hope they're minty. They're gonna turn up and they have teeth marks on them.
Yeah, but these ones are going in my binder, so I paid what I thought was reasonable for them. If I was just to go onto eBay and buy like a lightly played copy,
that's fair.
So
that's fair.
I think it's fine. Yeah,
brilliant. Well, next episode will be out next week. We're going to keep doing these weekly. We're going to get some guests on. We're going to reach out to some few people. Give us lists of names in the comments of people that you want to see, right? We want to cover, we were saying earlier that we want to cover people from the UK, US. Like, we don't really, having like different walks of life of the hobby, I guess, is rather than, the market investing side. We want to get a bit of everything as well. So we're going to try and get people potentially for a live stream. See how that goes. We might do some pre-recorded ones like this one
crossed,
as well. Yeah, technical difficulties are going to be rife, but it's going to be amazing.
I'll make sure like my headphones are charged, my microphone's charged this time. Yeah,
we're all going to be. It's all going to be good. It's be fun. But that is it from us in today's video. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody for tuning into this one. Like I say, we're going to be doing this each and every week. Have you got any final message for us today?
Yeah. Thank you very much for watching the last episode, I guess. It was nice. I'm having fun doing it. So that's always good.
Cards and Collectibles, all the links will be in the description. Go and check it out. Go and give them a follow. Do the thing, yeah? Guys, do the thing. But we're going to be back next week. And we don't know what the topic is yet. We'll see. Obviously, Black Belt and White Flare would have been out. You've gone to some card shows. We might have a guest. Probably not next one, but maybe the one after. But we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Right, we'll sign off for today. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you in the next one. Peace.
Bye.